Hello there, my fellow Cybertronians. This is Mega Ginger, the Ginger Transformer podcast. Welcome back. Last time we spoke about the UK collected comic Dinobot Hunt. This is the second, uh, not chronologically brought out, but isn't the re-release chronologically, but chronologically in order they came out originally. Second comic. Jesus. Basically, it's Target 2006. Here we fucking go. In Target 2006, this was basically the only comic that came out that didn't have filler in between at any point whatsoever. This was just one straight shot through. The quick synopsis basically of Target 2006, issues 79 through 88 of the UK comic series. Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge travel back in time to free themselves from Unicron's grasp. Yep, it's a time travel one. I quite enjoy those, if I'm completely honest. And mainly for the fact that in this, I don't think there's any humans in this story. A couple of jets get blown up, a couple of humans get scared when they eventually time jump originally, but pretty much it. Which is great, which is fantastic. And so basically, Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge, yes, they time jump back from back from the future to the past from 2006 to 1986. Their whole plan for destruction in the future, and so they won't become slaves to Unicron, basically. Now, to do this, there's a time displacement kind of thing. Time, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff here, but doesn't really apply. Mass substitutes have to be taken. Basically, Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge travel from the future, but in this, they end up displacing Optimus Prime, Prowl, and Ratchet. They disappear, and the Autobots all go nuts because they think the Decepticons have somehow vaporized their leader, basically their ops manager, kind of, and the medic. Which is funny because in this episode you actually see just how much they need. Sorry, not episode, comic. You actually see how much they need, at the very least, Optimus Prime, because they get trounced again and again and again by Galvatron. The Wreckers at this point, yes, we get our introduction to UK created characters at this point. Emirate Zaron, I'm not sure if he was UK created or US created. He's in both comics. You don't see the Wreckers in the US comic, but you do see Zaron. So, but I'm just going to say he was created in the UK. Welcome. We're keeping this one. You just keep Prime, we'll keep the gold guy. But yeah, so he's basically the Autobot resistance leader of Cybertron at this point in time, and he has his crack unit, the Wreckers, consisting of Impactor, Topspin, Twin Twist, Roadbuster, Whirl, and Rack and Ruin. We get introduced to all of them in this story. Basically, they have an operation called Operation Volcano. They're all going to lure the Decepticons' biggest hitters, the biggest killers, into one place and wipe them all out. And Ultra Magnus is the stand-in bot to make sure they don't get trampled by Decepticon reinforcements. When Optimus Prime disappears due to the time jump by Galvatron, Magnus doesn't have a choice. He has to go to Earth and investigate. Zaron's like, leave, go, find him. Because if he's gone, the Matrix is gone, we're all screwed. Well, how right you are. But that's in a way different future. So, anyway, Galvatron, Cyclones, and Scourge travel to where Megatron, the Constructicons are at this given time and propose an alliance. Megatron decides, no, my troops, my power, I am the Decepticon leader, screw you, and shoots Galvatron in the chest. Doesn't do any damage whatsoever. And when Cyclonus and Scourge go for Megatron, Galvatron has to remind them, are you nuts? Don't touch him. Bad things happen to me if you touch him. We're prepared for this. Just knock him the fuck out. So he does. They take out Soundwave and Megatron very easily and abduct the Decepticon Constructicon team and start building this huge weapon. Now, the Autobots at this point, they've witnessed this. They're now crapping themselves. Because who the hell are these guys who's bitch slapped Megatron? So they leave Jazz and Hound to keep an eye on things. And the rest of them all seem to bugger off back to the Ark. But yeah, Ultra Magnus appears on Earth, and after Jazz gets shot, is able to intervene and save Hound from Cyclonus. He takes him back to the Ark, where everyone ends up into a big argument. I need to find Prime. No, we need to deal with this guy. And blah blah. They all start infighting, once again just showing how bad it is they need Optimus Prime this badly. That's also explored in another comic, a collected comic called Prey, where Prime's looking at all this kind of stuff from this comic and going, "What the hell? How could you not deal with any of this shit without me?" But podcast for later. They end up going after Galvatron. They goad him. The Galvatron goes and there's like, "Here, you visit me, you leave something behind. Yeah, you come and collect your garbage," and shows Jazz getting tortured to death. So Jetfire, the scientist, is leading the fight. There we go. He leads a bunch of angry Autobots on an attack against Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge. And it looks like they're doing very well until they realise, that all three of them are play acting. Scourge got beat up and Cyclonus got blown out of the air, and no, they were fine. They're standing there over like several Autobot bodies laughing their ass off, while Galvatron's like, "Go on, show me what you got." And I think it's Jetfire, Smokescreen, Drax, and Ironhide. They give him everything they've got. He brushes it off, beats the fuel out of them for good measure, and doesn't even give them the satisfaction of a warrior's death. Which is good, because if he killed any of them, at that point it once gets screwed with the US comic timeline. So there you go, they're defeated. And Ironhide ends up unburying Soundwave and Megatron, because they realise they're in over their head. Ultra Magnus, who refused to go on this mission, by the way, because he's got his own mission to find Prime, fair enough. Shocked and appalled by this, but you can't really say him, because maybe if he'd went along, maybe the Autobots would have had a chance against Galvatron, we don't know. But yeah, they end up taking orders from Megatron. Now, Starscream, who's been in CR chamber at this point, he wakes up. Something innocuous happens with the chamber starts bleeping, and he just punches his way out. Then he sees Megatron giving orders to the Autobots, and he can't believe what he saw. He's sitting going, "Who the hell's terrifying enough to make them team up? Where's Prime? Why is he leading the Autobots now?" He doesn't know. He just woke up. But yeah, here's the name Galvatron, off he goes. He's got an alliance to make. So because we all know how that works in the G1 series. But anyway, back on Cybertron without Magnus, the Wreckers are saying, "Right, so that we don't want to do this anymore. We're not going to go through Operation Volcano." So takes some downtime, kills some Decepticons. Impactor's going to talk to Zaron and say, "We're done." Zaron is able to convince Impactor he should stay on, because if Magnus doesn't make it back, history will say he made the right call. But if he does make it back and you aren't ready, and he calls him a wily old buzzard. Impactor to Zaron. Other things happen in McAdam's old oil house. Some of the Wreckers are there. This dickhead called Fang, and I only mention him. I don't think you ever see him again in this, but he is in IDW comics. He's part of the Mayhems or something. And Fang, he comes in, he starts slapping people about, and the Wreckers come to the realization, how could we say this wasn't our fight? This is our fight. So once they're all back on board, Zaron, in his own wisdom, sets 3 Autobot triple changers on Impactor to knock the hell out of him. Kind of as proof of they'll do as a stand-in for Ultra Magnus in case he's not back. The triple changers being Springer, Sandstorm, Broadside. It was sporting Decepticon insignias, of course, at this point. But once they beat the living piss out of him, they say, "Right, we'll see you back at Wrecker's hideout. Here's a communication device. Talk to Zaron, who sent us back on Earth." Jazz was in a hell of pain. He just came out of like a coma, a haze of pain, and he was roaring and screaming at Galvatron. He says something like, "You're just like him. You're just like Megatron." And that's when Galvatron just leans in and goes, "Not like, I am Megatron." That chills him down to the bone. At this point, we do see some of Transformers the movie in the next part of the comic, as we see how Galvatron's created, who Unicron is, why Galvatron's doing what he's doing. Jazz doesn't really care. He's been tortured. He doesn't even give a toss. He's like, "I hate you. I don't care about your origin story. So you're another Megatron." But Cyclonus does turn up, having beat Starscream and the information out of him, and says to him, "Yeah, good news, bad news. Good news, I beat up Starscream. Bad news, the information he had to trade was that the Autobots had dug up and teamed up with Megatron." And Jazz starts laughing his ass off. Now, thanks to the Megatron's leadership, they are able to corner and capture Scourge and use him as a bargaining chip to get Jazz back. Unfortunately, Jazz is now lobotomized And, Galvatron's like, I'll take back my troop, I won't lay a finger on you. Jazz, kill. And he beats up the Autobots. Good for them. And, cutscene, basically, at this point, to 2006. Hot Rod, Cup, and Blur are ready to jump back in time to assist. But that never happens. So, how did they know? But anyway, they move. I think it's Thundercracker, the Shockwave, Thundercracker, and Rumble or Frenzy. They mixed up the colours in the comics, so I can never remember what one's what now. But it was Rumble or Frenzy. The three of them get mass displaced, so the three Autobots can come back to help them out. And as soon as they get there, there's a laugh deep in Galvatron's core he can't explain. It's like a chill, like a sudden, like there's a chill in the air kind of thing, He's suddenly a bit kind of pensive, kind of, the fuck. Anyway, the three future Autobots turn up at the Ark, pretty much deserted or just littered with people in medical bays at this point, to find Ultra Magnus. Or he gets down on his knees like, oh, Ultra Magnus, the bearer of the Matrix, blah, 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 and Cup. Gibb slaps him in the back of the head saying, he's not got it yet, shut the fuck up. Talks to him about Galvatron, how he's time jumped, that's probably what Primes went, blah, blah, blah. Turns around and Magnus has bolted. He's went after Galvatron. And from the comics, I'm going to read you, not read you, but, podcast about, that this doesn't go well. Every time Magnus gets that epic fucking beating from Galvatron, it's hilarious. I think only once, and I think that was in the IDW Regeneration comics, does Magnus actually finally beat his ass. And I think it also takes a planet shooting them at the same time. It's confusing stuff. Magnus is able to provide the distraction that's required for Hot Rod, Cup, and Blur to stage a trap for Galvatron. He has to get him away, he has to distract them for a while so they can set everyone up. That's what he does. He comes back, having, once again, he took Galvatron for a joyride, threw him off a cliff, doesn't stop Galvatron. He gets a hold of Magnus and beats him down. Doesn't kill him. Don't know why. He just drags him back to the base. His little base, And just as he's about to kill Magnus, Jetfire and a gaggle of Autobots show up and say, listen, we've misjudged this guy. He's Autobot leading material. You want him to go through us. Cup, knowing that they don't stand a chance, decides, right, I'm going to blow everyone up now and pray they get out the fucking way. Click, 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 boom. The Autobots don't move in time, but they still survive, Magnus survives. Galvatron survives, gets up. He is annoyed, he is pissed. He's like, who's done this? Who did this to me? Now, Starscream has been knocked out and taken away by the three future Autobots. Skywarp has been repainted and has been put in position, and they've got like a tape cassette on his back, like glued to his back, And they're speaking through that as Starscream, saying, "Hi, Galvatron, look at you! I'm brilliant. Well, I blew up your plan. Get out of here for a kick your ass." Now, anyone that saw the movie knows that Galvatron destroys Starscream in the year 2005. So when Galvatron blows this one up, he instantly goes, "Okay, it's very possible I am in a different timeline from where I left, because this doesn't happen. It clearly never happened. I wouldn't be created if this didn't happen. If this happened now, Starscream would never have booted my ass off Astro Train to get reformatted into Galvatron by Unicron." So he collects up his lieutenants, who were also knocked the fuck out by Hot Rod, Cup, and Blur, easily, compared to how many Autobots did they send against them? 10, 20? Maybe they made the sterner stuff. He gathers them up, and they go back to the future, where Unicron is waiting. Unicron set the whole thing up. He's the one, he ensnared the minds of Hot Rod, Cup, and Blur, brought them to him, sent them to the time machine, gave them enough information to go back in time and thwart Galvatron with typical Autobot efficiency. So when Galvatron goes back to the future, Unicron's waiting for him. He tortures him and shouts him, and Transformers movie continues with no mention of the time travel-y, wibbly-wobbly stuff. Hot Rod, Cup, and Blur go back. Their minds are wiped of all the events by Unicron and just put back to Autobot City on Earth. The reason Galvatron was building the weapon, where he was building the weapon, was because in 2006, when it fires and destroys Unicron, it was going to be right underneath Autobot City. You think the Autobots would notice a giant death ray, though, in the past, where they're about to build it and just decide to move to build it somewhere else. But I don't know how that works. So that kind of rounds a lot of stuff up. Optimus Prime's back and Shockwave's back. We don't get to see any of them. Ultra Magnus has to go. He has to get back for Operation Volcano, which unfortunately has started without him. Now, At this point, you've got Astrotrain, Blitzwing, the Insecticons, Ramjet, Thrust, Dirge, and another guy called McCabe. He seems to be like a typical Decepticon psycho. They're all going towards this trap. Zaron's the bait. He's giving a speech to the Resistance fighters of Cybertron. They're all fake. They're all like crash test dummies. It's just he's the only live one there, where the ambush is set up around the arena. But they get a message from Megatron, who's now been brought out from under the wreckage of this big machine by Laserbeak, and he wants revenge. So he's like, cancel all operations, head back to your base. I want several on the Earth as soon as possible, or there'll be hell to pay. The entire attack's cancelled. McCaber doesn't get the message. Well, he's told. He doesn't give it to us. He takes his big like plasma rifle looking thing, gets in, sneaks up, sees Impactor talking to Zaron. Pew! Zaron shoves him out of the way, and this is why McCaber's getting a mention here, not only is he in the IDW comics as well. This is why he's getting a mention. He kills Impactor, blows his face off, blammo, and a hail of auto weapons blow him to pieces literally seconds after it. He doesn't get a chance to take a shot at Emirate Zaron after that. Impactor is killed. His last dying words is put Springer on charge. It's a bit of a kick to the balls for Roadbuster, let's be honest. Springer's literally just been brought into the squad. He dies there. He's very sad. Back to Earth. And Prime's saying, oh, adversity, and we've done this, and we've fought that. But, you're happy Optimus Prime speech you usually get at the end of every Bayverse movie, but at the end of a comic. Now, are there consequences and repercussions of what happens here throughout the rest of the comics that I'm going to go through? Yes, there is quite a lot. Galvatron, we see Galvatron again many times. We see Ultra Magnus again many times. He gets his ass beat many times. We see Unicron again, and we eventually start going from present day to future, to present day to future, because there's quite a few good future comics as well. Legacy of Unicron, for example, is fantastic. I love it. It's brilliant. On the other hand, when we go back to our normal stuff, City of Fear is basically a Transformers meets Zombies comic before Infestation, years later by IDW. So the next one we'll be going through in the next podcast will be Second Generation. Unlike this one, which had a lot of unique UK created characters, like the Wreckers, like Bang, like McCaber, Emirate Zaron. The next one, you don't see any like new characters. I mean, we still have the same kind of cast for Second Generation. It's like Season 1, Season 2 Autobots and Decepticons, I think we get to see... No, we don't get to see Lord Straxus at all. We get to see his head in the one after that, though, so... More about that next time. But, yeah, that is me for this podcast. And I'll see you next time for the Second Generation.